I'm just about to give you a very serious avant-garde compliment.
Uh,
I have had you down as a neofolk artist for a very long time. It was from the time, I mean, I've known you so many years now. It was from the time that you said, that obviously there were elite connections in your background, but you'd been a refugee, and that started the cogs turning with me from that moment. Um,
no, you brought me back to something. This is what I wanted to say. Because
I'm
the
honored.
first works, my first, they deal with the problem of communication.
Yeah,
As a son of immigrants, they throw
yeah,
me through several countries. I can remember when I was 4 years old, I found myself in Belgium with relatives, my uncle, my aunt, etc. And then I liked it to be there.
yeah, yeah,
So I started more and more to speak Serbian.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And suddenly I found myself in a train and then in a refugee camp,
yeah,
Kreiskirchen in Austria, without any word German. My father spoke
yeah,
brilliantly German and French without accent. I didn't. He had a ground. I didn't. I have no nation, if you want. My name is my nation.
yeah,
So this communication, when I started, was very important. The general inability,
yeah,
this is maybe the main thing, to satisfy this need. And the breakdown of language
yeah,
uh, between the gender, between the cultures, between people in general. This is something to focus on liberty, on my liberty project.
yeah,
Was exactly that, because it was a project about the controversial situation between the genders. My grandfather and me, I was the young boy, and he was the
yeah,
dead, but the monument in a way.
yeah, yeah,
So this is something. The new environment, you
yeah,
know, the
yeah,
young environment is always based, and each state makes it, each
yeah,
empire is based on something which they declare as its center.
yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, so what does it mean? I'm and what? I'm on the edge of the world or something.
I think you
So when
sell
you
your.
say new folk,
I
I
think
have
you
to
sell
say,
yourself
no,
short.
just
Sorry,
let me
sorry.
say this
Yeah,
this
sorry.
last thing, because I
Yeah,
think it was for me. It was interesting. It was
mm,
my surprise.
yeah,
Because neofolk,
mm,
as I remember in the 80s, that was something which was based on the one side
yeah,
on theosophical thinking.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Blavatsky, I wrote all these things, like Gurdjieff, for
Yep,
example,
yep, yep,
but
yep.
also Steiner in a way. And Steiner I found by meeting Joseph Beuys,
Right.
because Beuys was very much involved in China and very much in this kind of shamanism of the Tatars. He created his own method and saved him as a German soldier, as a pilot of the Stuka. You know, for me, this neo folk was also based on music, and me as a hard rock fan, really also metal and all these things, very very brutal, hard and loud. When I was confronted with this kind of acoustic, which came on like a poetry in a way, like not singing, whispering. It was whispering. It was like the wind, something like wind waves, and just the structure was in a kind of monochrome, you know, so horizontal, and then it became vertical more, and filled the space.
Yeah,
So this reminded me on the Byzantine ritual of my church,
yeah,
which didn't change since the glorious times of Chrysostomus in Constantinople. So this kind of totalitarian spacey art, which the Orthodox ritual is, because it's based on listening, on smelling, on moving. I can say move. I mean, priests, they are like, yes, in a sculpture in emotion in a way, and also this kind of very precise and conceptual way of chorus, answer, question, answer. When I'm also a member. This is this kind of old immigrant syndicates. So one of them is the Brotherhood of the Mount Athos. I'm a captain in it. This nobody knows. Yeah, because I have to hide it because the art scene today became with this kind of totalitarian.
Yeah.
So, but okay, and I'm not ashamed of it, you know. So when we make once a year our excursion to the Mount Athos, to our monastery, which is made by Alexander II in the center of Kyrgios, huge, very, very big. And next to it is a skit of Haralambos, which is made of in the 8th century, who left the world, and left also his society, whatever, and came as a pilgrim alone, and stood alone, and died there, Haralambos. And okay, Haralampi is Slavic, but Haralambos.
Wow.
So I can remember just like an image that when the service starts at 3 o'clock in the morning, the monks are not very sensitive with you. Because, you have to go if you want or not. so in the dark church, huge cathedral, you see only something like cut-off faces, all cut-off faces, like a Kleeblatt, you know, singing the Bible, the whole one.
Yeah.
And what you hear is a moment. It's like the sea. And when the sun starts, you know, when it comes up about 5, so you see a small line. It's like a drawing, a small line, but very precise, searching its way like water, coming then to the iconostasis, and exactly in the center of the door of the heaven, it's going up, and everything is getting more and more light, reflected. And the moment it's reaching the top, you hear somewhere behind, very far away, like a child, you know, you hear the archpriest, the sun is walking more and more, so the whole thing is reopening, like your eyes, because before you be a bit sleepy and this and that, you know, you just but then it's oh wow, and then another one is answering, and he is maybe next to you. So even the sound is different. Oh, it's the one is in the way of a distance, maybe. The other one is very local. So, and you said Neofolk, and I was following, and to me, Neofolk was also synthesizer music.
Yeah.
And when I'm remembering, even before Roxy music, the experimental things coming up by Brian Eno and also Lou Reed at that time, you know, when he started to change things. So so that was surprising me when you brought me back to this, and because I've maybe forgotten about the whole universal point behind, and I was just frozen on this kind of popular music thing, you know, and so then I walked back more and more, and I think okay, it has to do with apocalyptic music.
Yeah.
It has also to do with satanic rituals. But in a way, like, for example, the Ariana doing it, you know, or because for them, this is the man who brought the light. It's not the devil, you know, it's not this kind of. It's also the man who is, in a way, one of the first philosophers, because he's demanding things.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
And very, very hard to classify.
Yeah.
And the cliche makes out of him something like a demon and something like some that was death. So
yeah.
if it would be death, it would be the neon what Sartre said. Then it's based on time, you know. So
all I wanted to say really was I think your elite connections are very important, obviously, but I've never had you down as an artist for the elite. I've always had you down as a neofolk artist, in the most serious of all senses, which of course you can trace back also to Schoenberg. I'll send you a copy of the thesis afterwards, just so you've got an idea where I'm going with all of this. We'll formally begin at this point. Um, if there is anything you want deleted or want changed to this interview, it will be my honor and privilege to delete it or change it. At the moment, I don't know whether it will be part of the postdoctoral work I'm doing with the finish. Even if it's not, it will be included in my new big book. So it's a continuation of my work on neofolk and it's a cumulative case for why those artistries are important and remain important. If it does go through the academic route, I will be required to submit this transcript to their ethics committee to make sure you don't feel used or violated or
no.
insulted. But I mean, not only are you an old friend of mine at this stage, but I mean, I'll send you a copy of the manuscript, the transcript once it's ready, so you can, go through it yourself and see what you're happy with.
Wonderful. Looking forward for it, and I think I can trust you, and you know that I do. So I have absolutely no doubt of them.
Well, my friend, as I say,
And you will decide whatever you will decide.
I'm a huge supporter of your work. I'm not always vociferous enough. Sometimes I hope you never think I've gone off the boil. It's just
No,
finding the right time and the right place. You know what it's like nowadays.
it is. It is. Oh no! Now the work. I mean, my work is based on timelessness
Yeah,
and sensuality,
yeah,
and I'm surrounded now by geology.
yeah,
I'm surrounded by war. I'm surrounded by propaganda. In each corner of each side, I'm surrounded by incredible, how to say, yeah, stupidity.
yeah, yeah.
Stupidity which claims to teach you. Me.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into the formal questions. They can be as brief as you want in an answer. You can say, I'm not interested in following that line. It can be as long as you wish as an answer. The floor is entirely yours with this type of academic process. And in a sense, you guide me. Right?
Okay.
So let's formally begin at this point. How would you describe your artistic practice to someone encountering it for the first time? Indeed, what are your core threads? Do forgive me for that awful slang, academic slang, for the core threads holding it together as the originator. So, what are the core concepts what we're dealing with here? And how do you think that reaches people?
I have to describe it to somebody, like to say, uh, I will stay first in the center because my work is universal,
Yeah,
but it's clear and definite center. The center is the double cross.
yeah,
Double cross is not only a sign, it's a painting. It's a painting in a tradition. I mean, we think on Rothko, we think on Art Reinhardt and all these things. Sure.
yeah,
Some of the Kandinsky, the first aquarels,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but abstraction without losing something which is telling you also something behind all that. So I would say, listen, when I started very young and I was a model, using what I said, this kind of communication problem, using the problem of center, and who is deciding what to get the position, who's but that was based always on the drawing because when I was always kind of solitude in between, if you want. You know, I had this name nobody could spell. I was the only Orthodox between Catholics in Vienna. I grew up in Vienna. I'm from Vienna. I'm Austrian.
Yeah.
So that means that, and it was still Vienna as an imperial city,
Right.
an imperial city in its baroque splendor, if you want, incredibly beautiful, even dirty but beautiful, and still hierarchical organization. You know, it was the aristocracy, it was the nobility, the gentry, the bourgeoisie, etc., etc. And you had to belong to it, didn't come in. If
Right.
you know the people who are coming, I mean, they come like tourists, if you want. They walk through, they look at Schönbrunn and this and that, and then they go. They're not part of it. They will never be. But this is a particularly different thing. Has nothing to do with Germany. Nothing. Even controversial, absolutely. They're also in the language, which is more musical, more elegant, more hooligan, and so
Yep.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this point, I used video, I used photographs, photo novels. It was contemporary. And then when I I followed the rock scene, I was always more with rock literature and theater people. You
Hmm.
know, my first performance was in 1980 with Robert Hungerbühler, who became a very famous then in Burgtheater and with Stein and all this guy, you know. And they've been professional, young but professional actors. And I will never forget
Yeah. Yeah.
first work based on drawings and then was the story of a man who is changing himself,
Yeah.
not himself.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He's trying to get a form. So he's dressing up in a pyjama, and the pyjama looks like a prison suit, stripes,
Mm.
and he's putting on his face old mask. Face is a kind of cage because it of his cape. So somebody else is coming by chance, looking at it. This is cool. I would like to be also like you. I would like to join if I may. Yes. So he's dressed up. But then now too, then a girl is coming by and she thinks this is fashionable. This is interesting. This is different. But she's also made, and four others are coming because they want to be good with her. One, they want to get her, so they are following. They don't believe in it, but they do it. And at the end, they are all masked and absolutely faceless. So he's changing back. They kill him. So this was the first work, and this work was called I woke I have dreamed I woke up.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
And so it was 1980. I was very young. So when this happened, and this time a pre-punk band like Novak
Mhm.
they supported me. I was a boy, still in the uniform of the school. You know, I didn't look like an artist or something, but they felt so
Yeah.
they guarded me some. And they had also something in Patmos.
Mhm.
So they said, "Come with us to Patmos."
Mhm.
So by arriving in Patmos, I saw a monk passing by, and this reminds me immediately of my youth, Orthodox. And I saw an icon, and it reminded me of the old, burnt, almost invisible small icon my grandmother in Krasnosel put on top of my bed.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this was like flashes, you know, boom. And so I isolated myself and I started to draw after these catalogs. You know, Greeks make catalogs and they are very bad printed.
Yeah.
So you have this kind of three colors, one over the overlapping and whatever.
Mhm.
And it looks so surrealistic. So I made drawings about that. And when I entered the Hora with the monastery, it was an old man sitting there under a huge tree, and he was looking at me. And I was smoking. He said, "Stop smoking here. Leave this world outside." And started, you know, aggressively yeah, to fight with him. He said, "Don't fight against yourself because you're ready for it. It's in you. Come with." And he said, who are you? I said, I'm this and that. I said, okay, you're Orthodox. So why you don't make the cross? I said, oh yeah, sure. Look, so these are small things, but don't let them, you forgive these things. You know? Don't forgive.
Yeah.
So this kind of, uh, how to say, feeling things without to recognize.
Mhm.
This was something which broke my first career. So when I came when I came back to Vienna, I left Vienna for Munich, in the Museum Limbach. And the show I changed and then made the Holy Mountain.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they've been all, shocked. And what is this? Is this religion? And this and that? And how come we're modern people? And so on. It has nothing to do with religion. It has something to do with spirituality. It has something to do with space. And it has something to me. And if it has something to do with me, it has something to you. And if I can transform it in a kind of objective form, so you will fit.
Yeah.
And so let me do it. Or say no. Oh my God, I'm not the show. But I got the show, and all my friends came and they helped me. And in the performance, I baptized myself. Right? And it was a huge installation where you see somebody which is laying like this, like a baby,
Yeah.
a place with earth. And on top, it was the first double cross, but it was a human, which is a part of opening, which means it's a form of freedom. You know, it's a form of freedom, and it becomes in art one of the last freedoms we have.
Yeah. Wow. You give me so much to think about. I don't know where to begin. Um, we'll move to the next question. If you wouldn't use the terms neofolk or conceptualism, and you may find that they're appropriate, what vocabulary do you think better fits the creative phenomena that we're talking about?
Uh, we have to using neofolk means to step out of the ideological circle which is defined today contemporary, which means also to step out of something which we call art market.
Yeah.
It itself has nothing to do with art scene.
Yeah.
So what we destroyed is this kind of universal thing. And therefore, I never made something as because, people teach you that fragment is part of modernity. They say only this fragments, but I don't think so. Because when modernity started with the first of Kandinsky, with Malevich and Duchamp and all these guys,
Yeah.
they've been universal, they've been not fragmented.
No.
And they've been to okay, because the individual without individuality
No.
and the face today. So, uh, so to me, this kind of classification
Yeah.
doesn't play any role.
No.
If you concentrate yourself on the movements of, so you have really to go. First of all, you have to accept that it is a cosmic book. It has nothing to do with the kind of illustration of today or decoration, the good and the rich and whatever. It has nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
It has something to do also with the countryside. It's not metropolitan,
Yeah.
It is metropolitan in the way if you carry it in and creating a circle so that it can grow,
Mhm.
but it's not part of this kind of a metropolitan civilization of today. No, it's not consuming all the time. It's giving. And if you take it like even behind Blavatsky, you know? So it is also an incredible rich, uh, to say it, it's a rich box, if you want, which is growing itself all the time, not ending up, and including Buddhism, including also the old Orthodoxy, but also, if in a way, the Kabbalah. And including all this, if you see, for example, the work of Anselm Kiefer, who would never uh, be happy to be called Neofolk,
Right. Right.
who is all the time creating Lilith.
Right.
All his installations with the bride is Lilith. And not too many people know what Lilith means. You know, not too many people know that Lilith was the first wife of Adam, and that she wasn't made, and that she refused to be a sex object. You know, and that he was a small asshole running to God and saying, "Kill her." I mean, so if you reflect all this, and we come then to the right, then we are in this bad cliche, because then Lilith became then the queen of the Daemon, you know, and say the free killing babies and whatever, which never happened, because the only thing she had to, yeah, they wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
And she refused, and she she reborn herself. You know, she her personality,
Yeah. Yeah.
most form of it. So it's a form of creativity. It's a form of very very deep. It's a very deep meaning behind, and it's always based on freedom. It's based on something you have a choice.
You're a master, Haralampi. For my own, excuse me, for my own purposes in this conversation, I need to draw reference to the fact I have not asked the second listed question. Have you heard the term neofolk? What brackets, if anything, close brackets, resonates with you visually, musically, dare one say philosophically, and what does not? I deliberately jumped over that question because of Haralampi's masterful conversation at the beginning, where we covered those points. So I didn't want to rehash, because there was the beauty of spontaneity in those original reflections. So I deliberately, dear David, remember this, deliberately jumped over because there was no way we could improve those responses. We're moving on to question 4. Many people are drawn to contemporary works by reactive older cultural materials. We can talk about reactive. It could mean
No, okay.
right. What kinds of traditional symbols, stories, rituals, if any? I mean, there's no. I think in your case the answer is yes. You know, if any, or aesthetic forms have strongly shaped your imagination. Now, that, of course, is a powerful and loaded word, but I'll leave it with
This is
you.
an important point. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it with you. The floor's yours, my friend.
Um, okay, let's start first with the first answer to this question. Right? The first answer can be art history, which means that uh, working on bringing Eastern spirituality and civilization, like I did, pioneer already 40 years ago, was always based also on knowledge. So that means that art history is in general based on knowledge, and we have here to take, we have to take care and to say art is not profit. And it's not a private aircraft. And at least there's nothing to do, it's not a narrative of triumph, which, surrounded by all the. So I would say that when I started with this spirituality program, I couldn't ignore the Russian Revolution. And I could not ignore at the end, which I wanted, but it was impossible to ignore the Cold War. And now we are in the hot one, for it continuing. And England is very, very good in it, intriguing and making dirty. Well, like always, but it's maybe an echo of the lost empire of the coming. So, and if you understand that we are a generation which knows everything about art worldwide for the first time, because we have the photography, all these books and magazines. But photography is making details. It seems like steel cutting, like the aircraft, because so it is. So we got maybe not the right, if you want, feeling about what we see, but we did think that we know what we see. So if we go back. So in the 15th century, 16th century, art was Italian. And everything had to be Italian style, in a way. And before it was Byzantine, it was Maniera Greca. So what was the difference? The difference was that with Italian style, the proudness came in, and the proudness that we can draw a perspective from and create illusion. The difference to Romanian, which is based on art, is it's a reversal perspective against illusion, against this kind of illustrative technique, So when we go back to the beginning of avant-garde with Courbet and Le Atelier, then that was after Delacroix, Romanticism and Orientalism and so on, wonderful paintings after, but we talk now about something else. Then we realized first that the atelier was not bombastic, it was not imperial, it was private. Yeah. It was a place where somebody works. And it was absolutely naturalization painted, And then something is happening. It was the atom bomb and Cézanne. Cézanne says, okay, this is a painting. Three-dimensional, but it's not the painting. And this is color. And this color on painting is a color painting. And this is a rosa, and this is a black. And if you look, for example, at one of his paintings, so the clock is. This was impossible before, So this is something against the illusionary rule, against this kind of education.
Would you personally, I haven't scripted this question, and again, you may think it's too complex to answer. Would you draw a distinction between creative fantasy and creative imagination?
This is really it's an important question.
Yeah, thank you.
When I first tried to work out a modern reflection on what visually by the icons. I realized that to write an icon is a way to speak with the unspeakable. And everything, even the colors, the way of the arrangement, and the kind of architecture, all of it is highly conceptual. It's highly conceptual to bring you in by finishing with your soul and your mind, just helping you with things, like there's a tool means think it's inside. There's something which looks like a mountain, which means you have to rise up by thinking. You have to change yourself. You have to grow. You have to also to change your position. If no, it's hard, but you have to try. And all this wordless presence, I figured out after years that it is impossible to bringing in the crowd, and it is good like it is that it is important. Because to confront it then with this kind of conceptual games,
Right.
like Kossuth, this is a chair, and this is a photo of a chair, and this is the meaning of a chair, and what means the meaning of the chair. This is academic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I became was an accepting that they are they uh, in this scala of decisions, which we have to do, especially as a painter, you have to accept it. You have to accept the challenge which people in everyday life don't do. They try to escape. And escaping it does lead you to something. It makes you small, it makes you a machine. And so I had to find a way between affect and interpretation. And here we are back now to the question, because the the interpretation is always following something. It's always following the atmosphere. First is the creation process, and interpretation which is following is a clear confirmation of the requisite. So it stays with the requisite, but it doesn't go further. And you can use it as academical, in an academical way. Okay, you can use it as an information, but it has nothing to do, in fact, with the work.
Extraordinarily thought-provoking. Extraordinarily thought-provoking. And curiously, leading directly into our next question. Can you recall an early moment or in a place, sound, image, or encounter? There's no need to force the answer when it comes to encounter. It may be relevant, it may not be. Felt like a deep connection to sacred, to traditionalist iconographies.
Okay.
Well, what made that moment? And again, it might not be a moment, Haralampi. Don't feel bound in by the question. If there was a moment or more than one moment, why did that become a reference? Why did that become something you drew?
It became a reference because I felt uncomfortable with the system.
Right.
I
Right.
felt uncomfortable with myself.
Right.
And I had the idea that the division between art and modern life. To me, it was a clear the division between them.
Yeah.
That it was just becoming, how to say, much of a simulation. And it has of simulation has a democratic certainty, and it was unsatisfying.
No.
And so, and in thinkable defense kind of masses of people, its own, how to say, modernity without to clarify what it means.
Yeah.
So by working, for example, now back to what we started with, I'm using music all the time, and I'm switching between blues and rock and operas. For
Ah.
example,
Mm.
one of my parents, they were tortured me with opera and theater. And today I'm thankful. I'm thankful, but I will never forget that in the Vienna Opera House, which is a famous one, something at the end of the 60s.
Yeah.
I met the big and incredibly great, wonderful Boris Christoph, who was an incredible bass.
Right. Right.
And Mussorgsky Godunov, really still I have it in my ear, because it is a combination of old Slavic, Orthodox ritual, and the libretto of Pushkin.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Also the melancholy of a man who is realizing that he will never reach the stars.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But with this voice filling up the whole space incredibly, I mean, I started to cry, and I'm still. The moment this music starts, I'm in tears. It's so that means that this deep reaction
Mm.
is creating images
Right. Right.
in yourself. And if it's possible to search for an objective form of it, then you will come back to art.
Right. Right. Wow. Right. No, you've got me thinking 1,000 things. We'll stick to the question. Your work is often discussed in terms of building bridges between East and West. I know that's a predictable observation, but it needs to be made.
Yes, yes.
And between older and newer visual vocabularies. I had a choice of using that over academic term vocabulary or not. I decided to keep it because you express yourself so beautifully. Also, I mean, you're a historian, so vocabulary seemed a very apposite term. But, how do you personally experience, and this is the crux of it, this in-between position, constantly caught between these polarities? How is that for Haralampi?
In order to secure one's own identity, only with great effort. Otherwise, so the question of content, is always a political.
Yeah, yeah,
So how, as a descendant of an old family
yeah,
with roots between Byzance and Mongolia, and everything in between, my mother Hungarian, my grandmother is Serbian, and so on.
yeah, yeah,
So that means that I'm surrounded. I was always surrounded. I am surrounded by so-called great men and women
right,
who
right,
did something
yeah,
for the empire and the state.
yeah,
And so, uh, and carrying also my name Haralampi through the centuries.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
for example, as in the 7th century, all Haralampis been breeders of monasteries all around in Central Russia or
yeah,
North, or with the first prince Oroschakoff, who was the brother of Gediminas, who was the Grand Duke of Latvia, who
yeah,
became vassal of Veliki Novgorod, and therefore became Orishak within the Finlandian Ladoga Sea, where the name and everything started.
yeah,
So with this mix, which always also would be very controversial. Only if we stay with this beginning, you know, Narimand, who became Orthodox to get Prince Gleb, his name was Gleb. He was married to the daughter of Topkacha, of the Mongols. Her mother was a Paleologos, you know, the daughter of Andronicus, of the emperor in Byzance. So the second son got a Greek name, Patrikas. And so you see that in all this, you as how to say is yourself in between Vienna and South France, because this the Poles where I grew up and still live. I'm in South France. I'm now also I'm of Canada. So you have to create without any jealousy. You have to create your own way of being.
Right.
And without destroying ritual, because destroying is a simple thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Impossible. And everything was, even the state is getting out of you will not get back. So, so this is today in this kind of Orwellian world, where war is peace.
Yeah, yeah.
More than ever important to preserve and to expand, to preserve and to expand and not destroy. This is my
Gosh. It's a shame I can only fit in so many questions, but there must be a structure to submit to the university. It's a
no,
real,
we have a structure. Don't worry. We have a wonderful.
yeah,
We have a wonderful structure. It is a bit in a way different of what I was reading in the working out with the question, but
well,
it's more rigid because it's living, you know, and I think that people who are following us
well,
will be absolutely satisfied.
I mean, we need to keep to the script, but your answers are so rich and multi-leveled, Haralampi. Don't stop, because I'm learning so much about you. I'm learning so much about your art. And I know people
But so am I with you. Well, why is it possible to make something together in England?
I would no, I'm still looking at that.
What is I mean, okay, the problem with Brexit means that everything is becoming incredibly difficult,
Yeah.
and
Well, I'll give you a
my
story.
friends in London
Yeah.
say to me that they need 1,000 things to do before
Yeah.
they leave or come
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
and everything is very expensive.
But
Also in Europe, Europe is so broken, you have no idea. Whole
I,
France, between, not the Côte d'Azur, but where
yeah.
we are now, but around us, the street is burned. All around, there are masses of people on the street fighting, demonstrating. The state's media will not tell you, but we have it, and it's the same in Austria. It's the same in Ireland. It's the same in Ireland. They have to use the army. Can you imagine against their own people?
I mean, it is the
This is
same.
the situation we are in at the moment.
I mean,
This is how we
I've
live.
had,
How we live.
I've had zero luck. I was even putting on a literature conference on the island through Creative Scotland, where we were looking at local writers and Baltic writers, and Creative Scotland gave us the go ahead, then wouldn't give us any money. And you think, well, that's something that involves local people. This is ridiculous. So I do want an exhibition with you, and I do want to be part of it, but it's going to be
No,
a
it's not
very,
only the exhibition; it's only the meeting point,
yeah. I mean, but
and
I
all
think
the rest we
your
will develop.
your work is very significant. Your work is very significant, but we're in such a climate at the moment. I can't even get a project approved with locals involved.
Yes, yes.
So
No, no, but this reminds me on the beginning, on the old days.
yeah. Oh,
And in the old days, it was like this because in the
right.
old days, don't forget, even in the Neofolk days,
Yeah.
The people, they have been the creator, they have been the critic, they have been the producer, they
Yeah.
have been,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And what is the good in it?
Right.
Uh, Means that the past, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is real in the present, always, and the future stays a promise.
Yeah.
And if it's possible to accept it in this kind of consummation, idiotic circle, never-ending circle, and the repeating, then we are unbeatable.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That takes me into the next question. How does biography, and I know that's a multi-level term, especially movements across cultural environments, shape the way you approach heritage? That's the crux of this question, and belonging in your work.
This was when the Berlin Wall fall, when it fall down, something changed also with me.
Right.
And uh, this wonderful moment of being the double cross icon painter was also a wonderful way of hiding it.
Right.
It was something like a spiritual secret people kept it because it was a form. It
Yeah.
was a form they could use it. It was a form like a basilisk turning the paintings on top. It was a form like Mario Merz is making egos, and this Bacon is always with his circles and nature. So there was the double cross. It was wonderful to use it, and I had 12, 13 shows all over the world in a year, which made the paintings weak because you can't paint on a double cross. You have to put it up. So when the wall, when this thing, which my parents, for my parents, it was unthinkable. There's been the fixation on each moment the Red Army will come was incredible,
Right.
destroying the everyday life of myself here.
Right.
This happened, and real people moved,
Right.
and the eastern part of Germany became a super um, uh, economical thing of the West, if you want.
Yeah.
So liberation, like this, as I've told it, and something which is what called the chancellor said, the future will be in rows and colors. The future was then made by products from the West. They had to buy
Right.
for 3, 4 times, like the EU is making the whole thing today.
Right.
So when this happens, I made a step and I became a historian.
Right.
And my art became lexical.
Right.
And people were confused with it. So when I came out with my Dandolo project, in fact, with an incredible success in the Federatiale Museum at the Documenta, at the National Museum in Munich, and so on. Big.
Yeah.
From the situation, I was immediately attacked by the left.
Right.
Immediately. Hardly. White Russian fanatics and whatever.
Right.
Something like that. Orthodox, mystical, something like that.
Right.
Because they felt that there is something they cannot deal with, ideology. Because Dandolo, with the cross on his head, in order of the Pope, was conquered Constantinople.
Right.
And the robbery of Constantinople, you can see in Rome, you can see in Venice and all,
Mhm.
was one of the biggest in the world. So even the mafia was poor against it in there.
Right.
And that was to me the point of no return. Because with this aggression coming from the West, right, telling you all the time that the aggression will come, but it comes always from the West. To me, it became clear that between something which we would call post-Latin world and post-European world is based on intrigue and on the idea of colonization.
Right.
And this colonization you can sell with all and human rights and all these things, things without any confidence. And so with this point in 1989, also my work changed, and I became old. And I was a wanderer between, but this moment on, I was an adventurist in it. So I started, to go inside. I came to Belgrade after 35 years, also with the of modern art. I came to Sofia where they destroyed one material. So I couldn't speak and show in the Academy of Science where it was the first talk organized already. I was like myself because they destroyed the borderline, everything what they had, the video, at that time we had video cassette, they destroyed.
Right.
Okay, maybe it was good, sir. Because we had then a talk like we do now with these young people who made that and I helped them to make because I organized festivals.
Yeah.
So if you see what happened was that I turned also to become my own producer,
Right.
reformer, activist, right? Who was not anymore in between the worlds, but stepped in both,
Right.
without conquering, accepting that they are different, and that these differences, if you are accepting them, also in an aesthetical way, is a wonderful palette. You can make one of the most beautiful paintings out of it ever existed.
I think that means we'll go directly on to the next question because you've answered most of the things I wanted to reflect on there. In neofolk and adjacent social forms, forgive the clumsiness of that, I'm trying to cram a lot into a brief space. Symbols can feel charged. I don't apologize for the speech marks because that could mean what the artist wants it to mean. Or in other words, carry history, emotion, and even a sense of taboo. What makes a symbol feel alive rather than merely decorative to you as a creator?
I mean, everything what you do and what is becoming a form is in a way decorative.
Right.
This is okay. This is good, but my approach always was I composed even this kind of historical social cultural.
Yeah.
Composed always spiritual. So that means it was interface is essential,
Yeah.
and also the projects are always based on a spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
Even using historical events, political culture, even then stay inside a spiritual
Yeah.
controversy,
Yeah.
detail, but not as I said before, a front. So therefore, I was often, if you want, I think currently in this kind of dictatorship in the aesthetic is an old form of people who are losing power.
Right. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
try, they try somehow to this kind of moralic police, trying to divide, the thing. So I think that if we take all these aspects for granted, means that we can see them in a timeless, like we started to talk more than an hour before, I think, with the Neofolk.
Yeah.
Modernism, because it was a modernism program, but it was also a timeless program. It was something which a process of avant-garde in the main meaning.
Yeah.
Avant-garde, which means without arms, and so you can confront them in a very sophisticated way, the world with beauty and with, which means that you are creating feelings,
Right.
and they create atmosphere, what we also met. And without atmosphere, nothing is how to say is everything is dead, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that now today in our situation, even the main galleries, which are becoming factories,
Right.
with all dependence,
Yeah.
even they are feeling so we all feel it. And so this can lead you to depression. It can lead you to aggression. It can lead you to reaction and revenge and whatever.
Yeah.
It can also lead you to drop the tempo bar, to say, the main question we always started to say is, who and why I'm here? What does it mean? What means Jesus Christ? In what means this controversial situation, even of the pilgrims who didn't believe?
Yeah.
Like he says, you feel and you touch, don't still believe, still doesn't believe. So if you go this way, okay, maybe we will not have success and money and whatever. I don't know. I don't know if it is so, but maybe it is not so. But maybe it is so. So what? But otherwise, you cannot fight against this kind of totalitarian system selling our democracy against the people, against them.
Yeah.
And so I would say that the paradox is that scarcity creating, how to say, is creating values. Okay?
Yeah.
But what we do now, circulation, is creating meaning. And I would say that.
Thank you, my friend. Gosh. This is again a note to myself and the transcription process. I don't believe asking the double cross question is appropriate because Haralampi's already answered it on a number of levels. So again, it would be going over ground we've already covered. So I'm moving straight to the question after that. What do you think about the ethics of using inherited symbolism, particularly religious or politically loaded colours? I had to ask that one to you. And vocabularies. With you, it's the colours this time more than the vocabularies in contemporary art. Is it okay just to simply borrow or lift from the past, or must there be something new from every creative? What do you think about that, Haralampi?
Every creation
Right.
is the right. It's my art.
Right.
I mean, what do you mean, Baring? Art is based on developed formats.
Yeah.
What Art Reinhardt said very clearly is art is coming up. And everything else is everything else. This is a kind of artistic evangelion. And I would go further. I would go on, because if I accept that art is fashion, but in the way of art history, it's uh, how to say, a simulation in a way to real life.
Mhm.
Then I have also to accept that we reached now a bottom line,
Wow.
and I will not do so. I
Yeah.
think that on the one side, it is important to know what we said before. Art is based on knowledge, to know what happened before.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
also important in a formalistic way to deal with it.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely allowed to take things out of it, to transform it, expand it, or whatever, or to destroy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, this is absolutely okay in every case. And anybody can do that, because anybody has a kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But you can also say, okay, this process is always being based on a Western thinking.
Right. Right.
And this Western thinking became triumphant with forgetting that Renaissance was a literary
Right.
first art.
Right.
Art always dealt with it. But by the triumphatic, way of Giotto, who was so proud that he could paint perspectively architecture, monument, they lost the spiritual point in it. And it didn't play any role,
Right.
because the Western domination of the world for the last 500 years was total.
Right.
There was no other. We destroyed a culture. We destroyed the Iberian, all this nation,
Yeah.
and we did it always, and always for the better education, to make a better world, a democratic world, a world of brotherhood, and what we did is destroying, killing, and dividing, and then getting out the good for us.
Right.
I would say that this kind of unipolarization is gone.
Yeah.
I know that London, Washington, all these guys, they are not able even to think or to accept it. So they will destroy the rest of it, and the dumb they will follow, and the others will fight.
Yeah.
It will be more and more. But I think that what we can see today, a lot of people are incredibly proud, for example, giving back uh, uh, artifacts of the black monarchies,
Mhm.
and they are celebrating themselves as incredibly moralic and incredibly multicultural.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But they forget that this it's not they are not pieces of art like we used, to present them
Yeah.
in between a Madonna, a Gothic Madonna, or an incredible fragment, Greek something, because of aesthetical reasons.
Yeah.
This object, they've been cult objects, religious objects, helping people, they're helpless, to speak with God,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
ask for help, to ask for strength, to ask for also, yeah, for love.
Yeah.
And now carrying them back from one museum to another museum is like uh, selling things. It becomes a materialistic process. And it's no wonder that then the African guys are selling them for a lot of money immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it lost the spiritual African.
Yeah.
Nobody of them would go back to pray and to try to speak through this object.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't speak. And so they lost their soul. And this is what André Malraux said with the Musée Imaginaire.
Yeah.
He said by this kind of information and the totalization of our power created unintelligent people who think of themselves being free.
Yeah. Gosh, Haralampi. Oh. Again, for the purposes of transcription, I'm ignoring the next three questions because they have already been answered. We will not be talking about tension between sincerity and devotion. We will not be talking about the process of working with iconographic references. Haralampi answered that masterfully not too long ago. We will not be looking at the question, what role spirituality or a sense of the sacred plays in his work, because again, we have very rich descriptions of that.
We spoke about it.
Yeah, we spoke about that. I do want to go to this one, however, about audiences, if that's okay, Haralampi.
No, but because just before in this way now,
Yeah,
you mentioned one of these questions of it was also including in
yeah, yeah,
the past kind of useful thing. You know, when I'm remembering in my way, even as a young, I loved three artists.
Hmm.
They being important for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
also helping me. One of them was Nicolas de Stael,
mhm,
an immigrant child who killed himself in the same month and day when I was born.
yeah,
Also a solitaire
mhm,
who changed three times his style, who was very successful and then in desperate situation
yeah,
and killed himself in Orly,
yeah, yeah,
the 20th of May, 1955, and on 23rd May of 1955. So this became something like he was always part. The second one was El Greco.
right.
El Greco as a photocopies in icon painter, who became a cold painter in Spain.
Mhm,
He created something with this kind of sick, I would call them sick color.
yeah,
Uh, uh, Created something even in the figuration,
yeah,
which leads you between sky and earth, because it's something which is really vertical.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the third is the etchings of Rembrandt.
Ah,
Yes, why? Because this etching so rich, incredibly unfolding in the line, this jungle, this line jungle,
yeah,
is on the other side so precise that it shows you the whole, but also it creates a certain concentration on the line which stays singular.
yeah,
So in between all this, I tried to find my way.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's a shame I'm limited in space,
No,
Haralampi.
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Um, as I say, I
We
do
can
want to.
continue. We can continue a second part.
Well, I mean, it may
We
come
can
down
make
to that.
we can think about to make something once a month,
Yeah, I'd be deeply
and
honored.
maybe people would be happy about it. They would be,
Well, you know, I recently
they
did.
will start to follow us.
Oh, with the master. What can I say? I mean, I did something on William Arkell last week.
Yeah.
And
Well, I worked something out of it. I didn't know him. I have to
right,
say.
right,
You brought me to on this point,
right.
and I was very surprised to realize, to learn uh, that he also, by this successful way, creating its own paradise,
Yeah, yeah,
he was also part of the music evolution.
Yeah.
With Harley, James Barber, and so on. This
Yeah.
band
Yeah.
who
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
tried to create something new.
Yeah.
And this was incredibly interesting to me.
Right. Right.
And also the kind of universal works, which then became so cosmical,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not esoteric.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because esoteric is always this kind of smooth thing.
Yeah.
He's not smooth. He's in a way, he's very concrete.
Yeah.
And so this is an interesting issue. But I would say, talking, if we talk again, we can take him
Yeah.
as a talking ground to create a painting by words.
Right.
But to me, the problem is I would like to see and touch one of his works. Because what I can do now, and I did
Yeah.
after me, looking by this kind of pictures, electronic pictures,
Right.
with this inner light, it's always technical, looks bright. It's
Well,
maybe not the same thing what his paintings are about when I'm in front of them.
we have two originals, but I'd like you and Diana to meet the family. I mean, they're a fascinating family. He was brought to prominence by Colin Wilson, a formidable man of British letters. But I mean, the family's still curious. I mean, Nick, his son, writes New Age symbolic novels, symbolist novels, very strange material. And his Nick's wife, Tara, I mean, Tara's mother is actually the actress Joan Collins.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's this.
I found out Denver Clan,
Well, I mean,
the intricate, elegant witch of the Denver Clan.
I mean, it's interesting to see that family,
Beautiful, a very beautiful one.
is in the thick of cultural life still, which
Yes,
is why
yes,
I'd
yes.
love, which is why I'd love you and Diana to meet them. We'll
Mhm.
arrange that when you're over. We'll arrange that.
I have a question in terms of
Yeah,
Mr. Bach.
yeah.
Did he ever was involved in Madame Blavatsky's circle?
Oh.
So all these things didn't reach his interest.
Oh, they reached his interest.
He was. Did he ever knew about Georges Gurdjieff?
Yeah,
He knew
he
also
knew.
about the Beelzebub,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
satanic, when he comes from the cosmic to the
yes.
earth. So he was okay. And did he ever deal something with Steiner and Hermann Hesse?
Again, he knew all these names and he was acquainted. I won't say more than that because I need to do more research. He was acquainted with these authors, these creatives, and their ideas. How deeply that went, I don't know yet. But he saw himself strangely as on a parallel, but not the same course. And that's something to do with the fact he was an engineer, of
Yeah.
course, in the Royal Navy.
And it's a true individual.
A true individual. Yeah.
Is it for you? Well, is it for you? Was it for you interesting to study, for example, Steiner and Hermann Hesse, and
Yeah.
it was it was interesting.
Yeah.
Also Siddhartha.
When I was a teenager,
Mount Veritas. And so
yeah, I
on.
mean, when I was a teenager, he was the first serious author I read, and
Oh, wow.
I read all of him. I read the whole of Hermann Hesse.
Then
Steiner became important to me later. I wouldn't say I'm a Steinerian or an anthroposophist, but there's
without Steiner, Joseph Beuys is unthinkable.
if
The
you
architecture Steiner
yeah,
did, Beuys did non-visual, if you want, non-visual.
yeah. But you've hit it on the head, Haralampi. There's too much in Steiner, too much meat to ignore the man. He's this rich plenipotentiary of ideas and philosophies and artistries. So I wouldn't say I'm a devotee, but I would say I'm an admirer, a very deep admirer.
There was also something maybe
Yeah,
absolutely weird,
yeah,
but by reading about
Yeah.
also his paintings,
Yeah.
the different styles
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
went. I had, I don't know why, but I was thinking on Nikola Tesla,
Mm. Right.
and I was thinking about the project of
Yeah.
all of this universal energy idea.
Yeah.
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 Uh, and why still it is impossible to get
Yeah.
the documents
Yeah.
out of the country. Why
Yes.
are they in the hidden stuff? So, so there are a lot of things we have to do another speech about
I was
with all this aspect.
yeah. I
And
told the British Art Network I was doing an online talk about Arkle, and I was going to do one about you as well. May I make a suggestion that we do it together instead of me simply giving a talk?
and
Um,
maybe we should just ask
yeah.
for a visa and came to visit you, just like this.
Well, let me
And then
do
we can work out something
yeah.
on the ground, you know.
Let me do an
And
online
even
talk.
if it's a small project,
Yeah.
it is real.
Let me do an online talk about your work first, because what I've got to do with Creative Scotland is have some groundwork before I approach them again. This must not be in the transcription. They are bastards, Haralampi. They will say no before they've even read the application form.
Okay. So well, one step after.
One step.
We don't have to stress or
Yeah.
to hurry up. No, we have time.
Oh no, my friend. I mean, I maybe I give the wrong impression. I'm determined to work with you and Diana in the world of arts. Um, it's just there are so many preliminary steps one needs to take now in Britain. It's nearly become a circus. It's ridiculous. And as I say, I'm having much lower key, much smaller projects rejected nowadays for no reason whatsoever, apart from the fact they don't want to spend money. We live in a ludicrous arts environment.
Same problem we face in the
Yeah,
moment because
yeah.
it's getting more and more.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we need you
And
across.
also
Yeah,
my big collector are closing the door, and they are leaving one after the other German
yeah. Well, I mean,
because
we,
they're
we need you
sick of
across. We need
paying
you
the highest
across
energy.
as visitors.
This is
Uh,
creating a gallery after the other is closing.
yeah, yeah.
And they're left only something like Anthony Duffy and Gagosian, and that's not galleries. These are factories.
Yes,
It's a
yep,
company.
yep.
It has nothing to do with that. It's companies, and then they work with ground projects, immobilia, and all these things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Well,
we know that.
we need
We don't have to complain.
no, no, amen, amen. I mean, we need you and Diana to visit us on the island
Yeah, this is what we
in about
will. This is what we will focus now for the
yeah,
future and
yes,
real focus on it.
yeah,
And try, we have also to see our economic situation,
yeah.
and then by staying in touch. By the way, I didn't want to forget. Congratulations that you are now member of the Royal Archaeological Society.
Thank you, thank you.
Great,
It took a lot of work, but as I
wonderful.
say, it's another example of a step leading to a step
I
leading
know,
to
no, no, I understand.
so Haralampi will finish this discussion. It will not be our last discussion. We'll finish this discussion with, I think, the only really important question. You've answered everything. With the only really important question that's left about audience engagement with your work. It's a thorny question for any artist. And in one way, it's an unfair question because how is the artist to know what the engagement is? How's the audience to know? How is the onlooker to know what the engagement is? But based on responses, maybe responses that you had or responses that you intuit, there's nothing wrong with intuitive knowledge. How do you feel they react to your principal works, not your over. That's a different question entirely. What would an audience engagement and reaction be to your work? Would it be recognition? Would it be discomfort? That's possible. Would it be curiosity? Maybe even misunderstanding? But what do you feel is the reaction at the moment you're getting to your principal bodies of work?
As an author,
Right.
I'm making a lot of readings, promoting my book.
Yeah.
The reaction is because maybe of the way of my interpretation,
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah.
Even when I'm touching controversial, problematic
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
The work as a painter, there is nothing in between. One part is against it and
Yeah. Yeah.
attacking me brutally,
Right.
personally. Okay, you have to. The other one understands.
Yeah.
They're the viewer, the big mass, and the viewer. But this kind of solidarity
Mm-hmm.
in the in understanding the the ritual power behind all that is giving me power back,
Right.
giving me a back. So this is all because people doesn't have to love it or whatever.
Yeah.
So in my painterly career, there was always a pro and very much
Right.
like a prolongation of this kind of thing between the scenes, between the chairs, between the space. It's but you can also take it and say, okay, it's a
Yeah.
privileged position.
Right.
It's maybe the last night.
Haralampi, what a perfect way to finish this.